Chinese President Xi Jinping once said that the Chinese nation will not be able to rejuvenate without a very strong cultural confidence and a rich and prosperous culture. So what are the fundamental, broader and deeper aspects of cultural confidence of a country, in your opinion? And what shall China do to strengthen its cultural confidence from here on?
This is really very relevant to today's time, not only in China but in the world, what President Xi has said. To build our confidence in ourselves and in our economies and the way we live, we need to have a very deep understanding of human journey, our evolution. Unless we develop a deep understanding of who we are, where we have come from, and where we need to go, we will not be able to have the confidence. Every Chinese need to understand the history of this great nation, and for the other nations too. Every one of us need to understand our journey and our evolution. So that's why, in my opinion, our confidence as individuals, our confidence as a family, our confidence as a city, confidence as a country or as a nation builds up once we have a deeper understanding of our journey over time. And that constitutes our culture.
How do you see China's contribution into global development of in the fields of education, science and culture?
China has been a wonderful partner with very strong support from Chinese government in all areas of UNESCO. I gave you the example of the World Heritage Program. We have two very important international gatherings, what we call the meeting of the World Heritage Committee. The last one was in Fuzhou, in Fujian province. So we are going to have the World Network of Biosphere Reserves meeting in China in 2025. And this would be a most important meeting which will decide on next 10 years plan. So in education, China is a very strong supporter of education efforts of UNESCO. There is a Great Wall Scholarship supported by Chinese government, which brings many students from the developing countries to China. And I'm very happy that our First Lady of China is a very strong supporter. She's a special ambassador for the girls' education in the world and in China. Also, there is a strong support for ICTs in education. We have a special center for ICTs and education in Shenzhen, which is helping African countries as well as Asian countries. For example, recently they have helped put smart classrooms in Mongolia with the help of Chinese funding. And also the private sector, like Huawei, for example, Tencent, for example, they're also supporting UNESCO's work in many parts of the world. Science and technology, which is a very important area where China has advanced so much and there is so much development here. We have Chinese Academy of Sciences working very closely with UNESCO. We have a number of UNESCO centers here. For example, in Langfang, we have a very amazing center related to geochemistry and looking into the earth. It's also helping other nations for them to be able to find rare metals, for example. So there are so many examples which I can give. Government of China working closely with UNESCO. It will provide new opportunities for developing countries to help them achieve next level of development by promoting better science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
Western countries at times promote some ideas which they perceive to be as of universal values. Whereas what we see that China has a different approach. It talks about exchanges and mutual learning about civilizations and cultures. And it also facilitates cultural exchanges between China and other countries. As the director of UNESCO's Beijing office, do you have any observance or some anecdotal reference that you have observed in your experience working in China that you could share with us?
One of the examples, recently I visited Hangzhou, very beautiful city, really amazing. There is a Grand Canal which starts from there, the wonderful history of Grand Canal which connects whole China all the way through to Beijing. But also there is a very important ancient ruins there, Yangzhou, between 4,000 and 5,000 years old. And as I have been going to Hangzhou for quite some period of time, I started thinking about the Indus Valley civilization, also very beautiful civilization on the Indus River. There is a very important World Heritage Site there. That was also 4,000 to 5,000 years old. Very beautiful civilization. Both civilizations are about water. Both civilizations are about urban amenities, like sanitation 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. Both civilizations are about learning and about understanding. So that's really very important for the scholars to exchange between. But if I take some other example for you, we have a number of forums which are initiated by Chinese government. One of them is in Guizhou province, the ecological Eco Forum Guiyang, the ecological forum. Very important forum to share ideas about eco-civilization. So within UNESCO programs, like in the Sichuan province, we have Sichuan panda sanctuaries. As you know, panda is an endangered species, and it's a success story for China, how the population has increased over a period of time. But if you think now of the experiences from China, we think about Bangladesh and Sundarbans. You know, the Bengal tiger, such an iconic species, and we need to share our knowledge and experience that how we have been successful in China, in Sichuan province, conserving biodiversity, our culture, our world heritage, and what Bangladesh is doing, for example, in the Sundarbans. But also thinking now about these civilizations and our evolution and how our cultures have traveled over time. I also now think about Latin America. I've been to Peru for some of the work in recent past. And there is Inca civilization and Machu Picchu. So you start thinking about these civilizations and about the mutual learning and understanding and the exchange of people. As President Xi has said, you know, spring cannot come with a single flower. You need to have 100 of the flowers before the spring can be realized. So that's why this mutual understanding between cultures is very, very critical. So if we have these mutual exchanges, then we will have a better world which is understanding a different perspective, a world which is giving space for everyone to grow, a world where we are able to tolerate our differences and look into positivities for peace and sustainable development. And we need to care for our shared values. And our shared value, in my view, is to have a better world for everyone, leaving no one behind, being inclusive of all the cultures, and to have many more flowers in the garden.